Good morning, everyone. My name is Abby, and I make bookish content here on TikTok and YouTube now. We are going to do a 24-hour reading challenge, but we have to make some rules. I have a special needs toddler who does have daycare during the day on some days, so we kind of have to work around that, okay? I can't just read for 12 hours straight for 2 days. That's just not going to work out. So I have 3 days where she will be going to daycare 2 of those days, and she will be at home for the 3rd day. We're going to see how much reading I can get done in that time, okay? We're not going to use a timer. We're going to use a stopwatch. That way I can kind of pick and choose. I did pick out some books that I can choose from for this readathon. Am I in the middle of several other books? Yes. That's okay, because I'm going to finish these very quickly to get back to those, right? Right. So here are the 3 books I have picked for this reading vlog. Let's go through them together. I picked 3 excessively different genres. That way I can kind of mood read and choose where I want to start, where I want to go next, but I'm still getting things off my TBR. First, we have a contemporary romance. This is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Both of these main characters have a limb difference. It ends up being a pregnancy trope. So she ends up getting pregnant by this guy through a one-night stand, and they decide to raise the baby together, and they also fall in love. I think that sounds really cute and very emotional. So next we have Tradwife by Saratoga Schaefer. I am desperate to read this ever since I picked it up a couple days ago because I think it sounds fascinating. It says a traditional wife influencer allows a demonic creature to impregnate her in this unnerving horror novel. Also just realized both of these books have the pregnancy trope. Whoops. That is not subliminal messaging, I promise. It says when Camille Dimming isn't cooking, cleaning, or homesteading in her perfect country farmhouse, she's posting about her tradwife lifestyle for her online followers. But she's missing a baby, so she makes a wish down a weird well, but suddenly she has everything she wants, as well as a deal with the devil. What more can I say? This just sounds really good. And then the final physical book I have picked out for this is Evocation by S.T. Gibson. This is a book I picked up from the library, and I need to read it so that I can take it back to the library. This is book 1, and it's also got to deal with the devil. So weirdly, all 3 of our books are somehow related. And then the last book I picked out, we actually have some chores to do today. So I will switch to an audiobook while I do my chores. That way we are still getting some reading done. I'm going to read This Story Will Save Your Life, I think is what it's called. I'll put it on the screen. This one is a mystery thriller, and I don't remember anything about it, so we'll have to talk about it later. And I thought that would be a fun read. So I'm going to make some breakfast, make some coffee, and probably start the Tradwife first. Let's go. Okay, guys, I stopped the timer at 36 minutes, and let's talk about how far we got. I am now on chapter 6, page 44. Let me just flip my bookmark around because it's going to bug me. This has hooked me. It took until this last chapter to really snag its teeth on me because it was kind of a slow buildup at first. So this actually reminds me a lot of a book that I read recently, Yesteryear by Gato Claire Burke, I think. It's a similar storyline of unlikable female main character, is a trad wife. Her husband sucks, her life is all a lie, and she's an influencer. So it's basically like the same book in the beginning. So I felt a little bit weird about it because then I'm like, well, which one of these came out first? But they're very similar. Anyway, I really liked Yesteryear. I think I rated it 4.25 stars, maybe, or 4 stars. If I went back, maybe it would be a 3.75 though. Because to be honest, I was really let down by the ending. I was really hoping she was going to go a different way with the ending there. So I was a little bit disappointed. We're not talking about Yesteryear, though. We're talking about Tradwife. So this is about Camille. She meets Graham, her husband, when she is in her early 20s. So Graham convinces her to leave her job and become a tradwife for him. He just got promoted and now they've moved to the countryside where Camille really feels like their life is going to begin. So she's made their house all beautiful, but all of a sudden Graham is now pulling away. He's not being the same loving, doting husband that he was when he married her. She's getting a little bit worried, so she knows it's time to have a baby. But she's finding it a lot more difficult to get pregnant than she thought she was going to have. And now that it's not working, she has this like weird moment where she goes out to an abandoned well at the bottom of their property and she makes a wish to have a baby. After she makes this wish, weird things start happening. She starts having weird hallucinations where she thinks she sees things. She thinks she's drinking from a glass of blood, but it's just water. And then a woman shows up on her porch where a lot of what she's saying isn't making any sense. And then she just has one message for Camille, which is don't go near the woods. So that's where we ended off. I don't feel like any of that is too spoilery, hopefully. So I now can't wait to pick this back up. I'm going to wait till my husband and I are going to go to a coffee shop in a little bit, and I'm going to hopefully get a very big chunk of this read there. But now I need to get some chores done. So I am going to listen to my audiobook, get some chores done, and then I'll meet back up with you and tell you how the audiobook is going. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry if you can hear my husband. He's playing video games in our game room. It is officially like 8:15 p.m. Our daughter is asleep in bed, so it's back to reading. I am almost done with Tradwife. I am so close. I'm on chapter 28, page 256. We're going to read the last of this together. I love this book, which is weird to say because it's very gory, it's very disturbing. I'm having a great time, okay? Lock me up. There's female rage in this. The main character is finally waking up enough that I'm like, yes, girl, he's cheating on you. What are you going to do about it? I don't want to tell you too much because I would be spoiling this book for sure. I also ran out of tabs. So at some point in my life, if I ever decide to reread this, I need to tab the beginning and the end of this book. So yeah, we are going to sit here and finish this together. And then I think I'm at right now 5 hours and 47 minutes. I'm trying to read 8 hours over the course of 3 days. I'm trying to read 8 hours a day for 3 days to meet the 24-hour goal. So we still have 2.5 hours ish. Math is hard. So once we finish Tradwife, I am going to move on and completely change gears in order to keep my brain interested and start Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I'm going to go take a bath while I read this and put some music on through my headphones. I do plan to annotate this one as well because I think I'm really going to like it. But tomorrow, we plan to take my daughter to a water park, which means we won't have nearly as much time to read. So I'm going to try if by the time I hit the 8-hour mark, if I want to keep going, then I'm going to keep going, you know? So, anyway, let's sit back and finish Tradwife together. Now, listen, I am not a big fan of gory anything like body horror, not my favorite, even though I loved The Troop by Nick Cutter. There is some body horror in this, and it is, oh, it's getting me. I started eating dinner while reading some scenes in here. I had to have my husband finish my meal for me, okay? Because I was getting a little bit nauseous. Not my brightest idea to eat while reading this. Did I mention in this book that she has sex with the devil? And that's how she has her baby? That might be a spoiler. Hi, and welcome to day 2 of reading for 24 hours. So it's 6:30 p.m. at night, and this is the first time I'm actually talking to you guys. So a lot has happened today. We ended up taking my daughter to a water park, which I think I did end up showing a couple clips from. Then when we got back, we were exhausted. So I have been reading today. I just have not been sharing. Like I said last night, I started Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Bonham Young? This is so good, guys. I have been tabbing it up. This is a contemporary romance. The banter between these two characters is so good, and they love each other so much, and it's very pure and funny. And there's not a lot of conflict, like actual conflict in this book, and yet couldn't put it down. So we are at the 4-hour mark. Will I make it to 8 hours tonight? Probably not, because guess what? I picked up a bonus shift tomorrow, which means we probably won't make 8 hours tomorrow either, which means we're just going to have to extend this over several more days, probably. That's fine. It just means you get more content. I still get to read and finish my challenge. It just might take us a little bit longer. I do have some chores I need to finish up real quick, so I will probably listen to my audiobook while I do that. And then tonight, we will be finishing up Out on a Limb. I am on page 292, so I have less than 100 pages to go before I'm done with this one. The book that I will move on to next is one of Uketsu's books. It's a Japanese translated mystery thriller horror novel called Strange Buildings. This is the third book in his series, and I believe somebody told me on TikTok that he does plan to make more. I really loved the first two. I rated both of those greater than 4 stars, I think. So I have just started picking up this third one. I kind of read a couple pages during dinner, and I really like it so far. This one, Strange Buildings, is kind of the same concept as Strange Houses, which is the second book, where it takes weird floor plans and it tells a story. You have to solve stuff. It's kind of creepy. I really like his style. It is kind of more telling than showing, his writing style, and yet I still find myself really involved. Oh my gosh, my cat won't stop moving you. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to get some chores done and take you on my evening with me, and then tomorrow you can come with me to work. Now let's see how much reading we can really accomplish tonight. I have high hopes for us. I'm confident. Okay, guys, we have to lock in now. Okay, it's like 9:15 p.m. I've done my skincare. That's why my face is so shiny. I'm wearing an overnight mask. By the way, if you ever take anything from me about skincare, which I'm not saying you should, but if you do, you should try this Medicube overnight mask. When I am very good with my skincare and actually do it every day, my skin looks so good, and I swear it's this mask. I don't know what it is, but it is liquid gold. I have not eaten dinner yet because I wasn't hungry when my husband was cooking. So I do have some pot roast and some potatoes, a hearty meal, and a Coke Zero. Don't judge my blanket, okay? It's my daughter's and it's what's clean. So I'm cold. So we're going to sit here and read for as long as I can make it. I really want to be in bed by 11. So that means we are not going to reach our 8-hour goal, but we're going to get a lot closer than I thought we were. And I'm proud of that. So I started 2 different books after finishing the other one because I can't really decide what kind of mood I'm in. I do have Strange Buildings by Uketsu. I'm already a couple pages in. It's getting good. It's kind of spooky. It's very interesting. But I could not help myself, and I started When the Moon Hatched. I am annotating it. This is a fantasy romance that has gotten very popular. The second book just came out, so I have been desperate to start this. I know nothing about it. I know that there are dragons. I know that she's an assassin, and she gets captured, which sounds great. The top of the chapter headers, that's redundant. The chapter headers are so beautiful. I don't know. I'm really liking this so far. And I'm only on chapter 2 anyway. So I need to sit here and read, but I just need to first decide which one I'm going to read tonight. And then you and I are going to work tomorrow. So let's go. Good morning, y'all. It is 5:50 in the morning, and we need to go to work. I need to put my shoes on. So I bought these. They're new. They're like little black and white Adidas because I really needed new athletic sneakers. I haven't owned a pair in a while because I just end up wearing my Crocs, like my platform Dylan clogs, to work, or my Converse. But recently, I'm getting up there in age. I'm almost 28. And so I feel like my feet have been hurting. So I got these, and of course I need to redo all these freaking laces. Anyway, so I picked up in the ICU today. My full-time position is in house operations. I'm a house supervisor and I do bed control at my hospital. House supervisor and bed control are the same person unless we have a fill-in. So when I work 3 shifts in a row, we swap every day. So one day I would do house soup, the next day bed control, and then back and forth. I started in the ICU and I like to pick up over there a couple times a month, not just for the overtime pay, but also to keep my skills. That way, if I ever decide I don't want to do house soup anymore, I still have a skill set to fall back on. Anyway, so I thought I would very quickly get you updated on the challenge. I made it to 6 hours and 12 minutes last night. I decided this time I'll keep the same timer and we will just keep going until we reach, how many hours would that be? 18 hours, I think, right? If I read, no, 16 hours. So I need to reach 16 hours so that way I can tell when I'm done. I think I ended up giving Out on a Limb 4.5 stars. Really liked it. A classic contemporary romance. It made me laugh. It made me sad. It was just so good. I really liked it. And I've been kind of going back and forth, as I was talking about last night, about what to move on to. And I did end up reading some of Strange Buildings by Uketsu, which I have right next to me. The Japanese translated mystery thriller. This is actually the one that I'm going to bring with us to work to see if I have time to read on my lunch break. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You know how that goes. And this one just tells creepy stories through floor plans. But I also started When the Moon Hatched because I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to read this for a long time, and it's been on my TBR for a while. And then I keep seeing people online talking about it recently because the sequel came out. So I decided to start this. This is a fantasy romance about a girl that's an assassin and she gets captured. That's on the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler. So I started it last night. I got all the way to page 76, chapter 10. So I put a decent dent in this book last night. So excited to get back to this tonight, but we're going to take this one with us. Now, I need to make a coffee and get out the door, or I'm going to be late.
All right, y'all. I just got off work. It was a busy day in the ICU, and of course I got no reading done. I don't know why I always think I'll get reading done. It's just a dream, apparently. So now I'm headed home. My husband did order us Italian food, so at least there's that to look forward to. I work again tomorrow, but tomorrow I think I'm gonna be bed control, which is a good day to read in my breaks. However, okay, so far we're trying to reach 24 hours and see how long it takes us. This challenge has evolved a lot because my schedule evolved. On the first day, I read for 8 hours. On the second day, we reached 6 hours. Today, I'm gonna try to read for 4 hours when I get home. I don't know how successful I'll be. I'm gonna restart my timer. We'll see. If we hit that, we will be at 18 hours, which means I will only need 6 more hours after that. And I could do that. I could totally do 6 hours tomorrow somehow. And that, I don't think that's delusional at all. So I'm gonna drive home and then we're gonna read. Let's go.
All right, y'all. I am back home from work. I listened to about 20 minutes of my audiobook on the way home. So we are 20 minutes into our 4 hours. Hopefully 4 hours. It just depends on how late I can stay up because it's already 8 o'clock. It's not going to be 4 hours, is it? Okay, we're just going to see how much I can read. But before we do that, I decided, you know what I have time for? Showing you books. So I recently got these 3 special editions in the mail and I really want to show you them, okay? They are so pretty. I got these on Mercari, so I will put the seller's name and their page up because I loved the packaging and I love their taste in books. I was looking through their catalog, quote unquote, and those are some nice books. Okay, let's start with this one. Look at this. Look at this. It's so beautiful. This is To Hive and to Hold by Amy Crook. This I know is like a cozy fantasy. I buy so many of these and I don't read them that often, so I really need to start reading them. This one sounds really good. So it says Arthur is an apothecarist in the witches' district of a city that might have once been London before the magic came. He also keeps magic bees and teaches his trade to his apprentice. His life is settled, his customers are happy, and his heart is finally ready to open itself to more. Jade was a student of sorcery, but although he values the skills he learned there, he doesn't agree with their values up on the hill. He's taken himself, his newly acquired tattooist's license, and the familiar under his skin and moved down to the witches' district. And then he starts hanging out with Arthur, and they probably fall in love. So this is a little gay romance. Very excited about this. It's very pretty. Next, we have The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker. Are we surprised that I got myself another Kylie Lee Baker book? No, we are not. So I want to say this one is YA, and it did come with all the stuff. It looks like this is a fairy loot book, and it came with all the stuff that comes with the book. So it has a little card to tell you about it, and it does have an art print in it, which is very pretty. And then we have the book. I have no idea what this is about. It looks like this is also about alchemy, which is kind of funny, but I'll just very quickly show you this book. Very, very, very pretty. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow, that is so cool. Here are the end pages. Principal rule of alchemy: you cannot create good without also creating evil. She dreams of becoming a royal alchemist, escaping her impoverished village in China. She scrapes a living practicing an illegal form of alchemy, resurrecting the dead for a price. Ooh, that's cool. There's the other side. So I picked up this because I'm really in my Kylie Lee Baker era and I'm embracing that. And then the last book that I bought from the seller, I am very scared of this book. So we will see how this goes. This is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. This is about a trans man who joins a cult and then ends up pregnant against, like, he doesn't want to be pregnant. There's worms involved. I don't know. I've heard that this is very creepy and I'm scared. I've also heard that the audiobook of this is very good. Oh my gosh, guys. Look at this. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. This book is crazy. Wow. I'm ready to be disturbed. Is this a romance too or just a horror? I don't know. These end papers are kind of giving me dark romance vibes. So those are the 3 books that I really just had to show you. The next thing I'll talk about, I haven't decided what I want to read tonight. I'm just going to kind of feel it out and see how things go. Because I'm kind of between, I could read Strange Buildings, because at least that would keep my attention very easily. Like it would be a very quick read. Or I could go back to reading When the Moon Hatched, because I was having a good time with that. I also have this book that I could read, which is a gay romance back in the 60s, I think, about a reporter and a baseball player. I'm actually pretty far into this one, and I really want to finish it. So I'm kind of leaning towards reading this tonight, like a nice little romance. So I'll have to decide between those 3 books. I'm probably going to go take a shower real quick and then get to reading. Good morning. It is 6:35 a.m. I'm at work. I could not wake up this morning. I am feeling so exhausted. So, I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done today. Today, I'm working bed control. I only read for an hour last night, and then I went to sleep because I was so tired after my ICU shift. But today, since I'm bed control, I will sit in front of a computer and wait for admission orders to drop on patients in our charting system. We use Epic. Then I drop those patients into beds in the hospital. That is the very brief, very non-descriptive explanation of my job. To go more in depth would be a lot, okay? It would be a lot to explain, but that's the gist of it. Because I sit in front of a computer all day, I do have some downtime. It really depends on the day. Sometimes we have beds coming open all the time. I go through hundreds of charts a day. So sometimes I get more time than others, but I'm going to try to read today. We're going to try to get around 4 to 6 hours done, and then we may have to call it quits, guys. I've tried really hard to read 24 hours, but this week is not working out in my favor. Maybe we'll persevere. We'll see. So I brought 2 books with me. I brought Strange Buildings by Uketsu, and I also brought When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to continue When the Moon Hatched because I'm really excited about that book, and I've been tabbing it. But just in case I'm not in the headspace to do a fantasy, I brought Strange Buildings. I've also been listening to my audiobook, The Story Might You. I'll put it on the screen, which is about 2 podcasters and one of them goes missing. And so far, I'm really liking it. It's very slow paced, I will say. I think it's a thriller, but I'm still really enjoying it. Like, I'm having a good time. It's very fun to listen to. It's dual narration, which I always love. And it's setting us up to think that one person is involved, but it just feels too obvious. It just feels way too obvious. I feel like I'm missing something. So I'm excited to see where that goes as well. So now I need to go inside. Right now. I need to go inside work. I gotta walk 8 million miles to my office from the parking garage. So, okay, bye. Well, I feel like I don't really need to tell you guys this, that we did not hit 24 hours. It's actually several days later. Ching. I don't have any excuse except for the fact that my week quickly spiraled out of control. I ended up picking up an extra shift at work. So there was a day where I had to go to work in the ICU and work a full 12-hour shift. It completely got rid of my plans to read. So I was like, oh, I'll put it out over several more days. I'm just delusional. I have decided. I have self diagnosed and it was never going to happen. And you know what? I have accepted that and I can live with that. So now let's just discuss how it went. Now, was this a fail? Yes, but I still had a lot of progress. I got 3 entire books off my physical TBR, which, you know what? That is a win. Okay. In my books, that's a win. So let's go over what books I read during this 24-hour reading challenge. I did finish Tradwife by Saratoga Schaefer. This is a horror novel about a tradwife, and it was really good. Clearly, I tabbed it. Very spooky, really hit the spot. Honestly, 10 of 10 would read again. I need to read something else by her. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, my Shayla. Okay, this was so sweet. This is a contemporary romance about these two characters. There is a pregnancy trope. However, I thought it was handled really well. I tend to like, I don't want to say like, I tend to not mind pregnancy tropes. This one, A plus. The love that these two have for each other is so pure. And I just love how consistently Bo, the male main character, is there for Win, the female main character. No judgment, just always supportive. I don't know, even the third act, not really a third act. And that's how I like them. Okay. They built trust between each other and they kept it. I will be picking up more by this author. The last book that I completed during this readathon was Strange Buildings by Uketsu, which I am now caught up in his series of weird, chilling Japanese mysteries. I know that there are more in this series that are not translated yet. This one I gave 3.5 stars, I think. It was not my favorite, but I still had a lot of fun. I'm hoping the one after this is not about buildings. Can we do something other than buildings? We'll talk about the ones that I did read during this challenge, but that I did not finish because I kind of bounced back and forth a lot during this challenge. I could not decide what I was in the mood to read, and I couldn't get my mind to focus long enough. So I did start What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is an atmospheric gothic horror novel. I have recently picked up several of this author's novels, so I need to finish this so I can move on to those. I am especially excited for the newest release by this author, Wolfworm. And then I did get A House with Good Bones because I have been recommended that several times. I also read a little bit of Cat Sebastian's You Should Be So Lucky, a contemporary male male romance set in the 1960s. It's a sports romance. I really enjoyed a different book by this author, Starship, gave it 5 stars, couldn't stop raving about it. So I know I'm going to love this one too, if I can just get myself to sit down and finish it. And finally, we have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Also having a great time with this. This is a romantasy and has dragons and fun magic, and it's a good time. I'm on page 278 of this absolute mammoth of a novel. Can't wait to get back to it, honestly. Probably the thing I'm most excited to be reading right now. So, yeah, that is everything I read during this 24-hour reading challenge. We have to do this again because I will vindicate myself. I'm coming back for you, 24-hour reading challenge, and this time you're mine. Anyway, thanks so much for following along with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.